This is Kerrigan & Company. I have to tell you, folks, I think lighting in your home is one of the most important things that you can do to keep the house updated. And when I need new lighting, I head to Lucia Lighting and Design. Their spectacular 10,000 square foot showroom inside a beautiful mansion in Lynn, Massachusetts is decorated with both architectural and decorative lighting in every single style. From crystal and traditional to contemporary and modern, the selection is absolutely unmatched. Whenever I'm looking for new lighting, as I mentioned, I head to Lucia Lighting and Design. And when I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for, hi everybody, this is Kim. This week, it's all about travel. This is Kerrigan & Company.
Kerrigan & Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan & Company is here for you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Kerrigan & Company. So good to have you with us today. Now, I must tell you, we have a special show today. I'm actually flying solo today, no co-host, and you're going to find out the reason here in just a moment. You know, it's the middle of summer, and all of us are just so thrilled that this time has come, and maybe you're making a trip down to the Cape or one of the islands, or maybe you're staying at home and running to the beach close to you, not really thinking about other travel, because who wants to leave New England in the middle of the summer? However, if you're someone who enjoys travel over the holidays, or maybe you're somebody who wants to get out of these New England winters, right now is the time that you need to start doing that. So my producer, Dave, and I started thinking about it, and we thought, well, how about if we did a travel show that would look at all different facets of travel and would offer up something for everybody who listens and watches, and especially for those who are interested in booking those holiday and those winter vacations. So that's where we are today. And again, I'm flying solo. That's my producer's line, not mine, as we get ready to talk about travel. I started thinking about it, and it dawned on me that I know a young woman who is someone that I've known for a while. She's a good friend of my daughter's. I'm very proud of who she is and what she does. She is a travel consultant, luxury travel, and I called her to see if she would come and join us, and she said she absolutely would. So I am thrilled to have Annie Goldman with me today. It's great to have you, love.
It's great to be here.
It's good to see you. I was saying I hadn't seen you since you guys graduated from college, which is hard to believe. A couple of years, right?
I can't believe it. We're back.
I know. Time flies way too fast, that's for sure.
It does.
But, I've certainly stayed in touch, and it's been so great to watch you develop. And now, here you are with your own travel agency.
Yes.
And the name of it is?
The Golden Way.
The Golden Way.
Yes.
And in fact, she brought me a hat, I must
did.
tell you, which I will wear on a regular basis, that's for sure.
I thought the white. I have white and navy. I felt like you were the white
I'm a white girl.
Yep.
Yeah, you picked the right one for sure. I love it. So Annie, let's talk a little bit about first, what is the Golden Way, and what exactly you do?
So I am a luxury travel advisor, and luxury in my mind doesn't just mean 5-star hotels. It's really about the level of service I provide to my clients. It's about curating seamless experiences that are personal and unique to each individual person, because travel in my eyes is not copy and paste. What you might want to go on is different than a trip that I might want to experience, and it really is personal. So the Golden Way is a travel and concierge company that I started. I am an affiliate of Fora Travel, which is my greater agency, which helps support the infrastructure of everything that I get to do for my clients. But essentially what I do is create personalized travel experiences. I can plan everything from your flight down to where you dine every night, or work with you closely to help you and guide you make those choices and what's going to be the best trip for you.
Yeah, I know you were saying that you have some clients who call and say, Annie, I want to go to Paris. I'm going to stay 5 nights, and I don't want to deal with anything else. Call me when it's all set, and tell me where I'm going to have dinner. Exactly. And then you have others, of course, who are I want to see this and I want to see that, and we want to do that on the second day, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. So it's all about also presenting people options and making them feel like they're part of that choice.
Right.
Some people like it all done. Some people don't have the time to do the research, and especially with social media and everything going on with TikTok and Instagram, you get all of these recommendations, but you don't really know which are real, authentic places to go in the midst of all of this social buzz. And my job is to help people sift through that.
Okay, now, was I off base when I said to my producer, Dave, here it is, the middle of July, and I think if you want to travel somewhere and you want to go somewhere over the holidays, or maybe you're someone who wants to rent for the month of February, now is the time to be doing it.
Now is absolutely the time to do it. I was looking at a hotel in Jamaica. It's very popular, Half Moon Bay in Montego Bay. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous resort, and I was looking at 1-bedroom to 2-bedroom suites for a family of 5, completely booked for the month of February.
Really?
Now, there is room for cancellations and things like that.
Sure.
Things happen. Sometimes people book up multiple options for their clients and then cancel on the back end. So there's always possibility, but you really should be jumping on this sooner rather than later.
So let's talk about, some of these clients that you're working with and some of the really hot and cool places. Because sometimes I think people are a little intimidated by where they should go. So what are some of the hot places that are coming up?
I feel like we've all heard, the White Lotus effect. That's a real thing.
True.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show, but if you are, the White Lotus effect is real. A couple years ago, everyone's going to Maui. Then it was Sicily. Now it's Thailand. And now it's also a lot of people that have been obsessed with the series are trying to figure out what next four-season property they're going to do it at. So people are heading to Morocco, to the Four Seasons Marrakesh. People are planning for Four Seasons Courchevel, which people are noticing was blocked off for the month of January, not sure if they're going to be filming scenes there. So people are really trying to follow that wave, as well as Portugal has become almost a new accessible option than Italy, especially coming from Boston. It's a shorter flight. It offers you wine country. It offers you the ocean, and it offers you cultural cities that really represent that old world feel, but with a little bit of a modern flair.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you talk about, I know you said luxury has so much to do about the concierge service that people get from you. But let's talk about, when you're booking these, what's a trip for, a family of 4 for, 10 days overseas? What's that typically running?
Well, it really depends on the hotel. So if you're a family of 5 and you're okay with the 1-bedroom suite with the pull-out couch in the living area and then cots for the other kids and willing to make that work, then it can run between 10 to 15 to 20,000. But if you want multiple rooms, larger suites, it's going to be right now about 20,000 plus.
Sure. And are people staying in resorts or are they staying in Airbnbs?
I would say mostly people love resorts because at the end of the day, you are taken care of from the moment you walk in. It's worth the investment of your money, your time. People want to feel whisked away. And as soon as you check into properties like I've been sending my clients, it's hands up and they leave it to everybody there to take care of them. And it's just a relief.
Sure, absolutely. And I think if you're spending $20,000, you want somebody waiting on you on a regular basis.
And that's part of the thing. Some people want, you can rent a lovely, lovely villa, but not all of them come with housekeeping. Not all of them come with, drink, chef, bar service, things like that. Some do, but that comes with a price.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, some people find that they save more money with food and drink and all of those things at the end of the day because they don't have to outsource that.
Sure, absolutely. So, Annie, we're talking now in July again.
Yes.
So let's say that we're looking to book for February.
Yes.
What are airline flights looking like at this point?
I would say book now.
Okay.
And book as soon as you see a rate that works for you. I personally work with commercial flight brokers, which are able to really secure that rate. As you know, you could go on delta.com and the rate can change from an hour to the next day. It never really holds. I'm able to work for my clients with people that are able to keep those rates for a little bit longer, which is a nice travel hack, travel secret when working with an advisor. But right now, book now. Flights to, for example, Anguilla are running from $400 to $600 round trip, or in 2 months they'll be $1,000 plus. So it's really worth getting on that early.
Sure. And in fact, if you're not exactly sure what you want to do, getting those airline tickets secured is your best bet right now.
Get a refundable rate. If you end up changing your destination, you can use whatever credit you get from that airline to rebook to your new destination, or you get a refund. I don't think you're ever going to regret booking at a rate knowing what it was back then to then how it increases in the future.
Tell me how people are responding overseas to Americans.
It's a mixed review, but I think at the end of the day, tourism is what fuels so many different economies in so many different cities, and people are happy to host you. In countries like Spain right now, there has been a huge little bit uproar in terms of the citizens of the many cities just feeling overrun by tourists, and I don't think that's American specific. So there's been a bit of feedback in that regard, but right now, I think people are excited to get out, get going, especially after the pandemic, and a lot of different tourist-run communities are accepting those people because there was such a dip for a while.
Sure, absolutely. So is there any place that people maybe don't, you said Portugal, which is really great, but what are some places that people don't think about that can be really luxurious, fabulous vacations?
Well, I think not a hidden gem. Everybody knows Vienna, but a city that is equivalent in my eyes to a Paris, to a Milan, to a London, that really gives you that old world European feel, from the dining, from the shopping to the architecture, is Vienna and Geneva, Switzerland. I think those are cities that people need to take into account more. What's wonderful is from Vienna, you can go into the countryside. You can explore the Lake District of Austria. You can go to Salzburg and have your Sound of Music moment. You can go to Hallstatt and see these beautiful alpine towns on the water. And the same goes for Geneva. You can take the train from Geneva. You're right on Lake Geneva. You can head to Lausanne and see where they held the Winter Olympics, and you can see these lake villages, and then also head up into the mountains and get greenery and hiking, all within 1 to 2 hour ride from the cities.
Wow. And are those places that might be more easily accessible, let's say? Well, first off, let me ask you this. What's the travel like there in the first 3 or 4 months of the year?
Of the year, they're very accessible, and they're also coming off their Christmas market. So some of those last into January. So it's a fun, festive time, but you're kind of getting to experience them at the tail end after the Christmas rush and after the New Year's rush. So we're wrapping all of that up, and it's a nice little pocket of time to really get to explore Europe after the holidays and kind of before people have that summer and spring rush. It's a nice little pocket, and it's beautiful in the winter there. You see the snow-capped Alps in Geneva, and you get to experience the magic of Vienna in the winter.
So that sounds fantastic, by the way, and I think that would be so great. I'd have to have a lot of baggage because it's winter clothing you're taking.
Winter clothes. Yes.
That's the first place I go. Oh, all those sweaters. That's going to be so tough to pack.
Exactly.
What's a great destination for the first of the year?
Yes.
You want to get out of a New England cold.
Yes.
Where do you want to go?
So I think something that on the West Coast people take for granted is the Baja Peninsula, Cabo, and San Jose del Cabo. I think on the East Coast, we're not as familiar with that. Going to Cabo and San Jose del Cabo for people on the West Coast is like us taking a quick flight to Miami or to Fort Myers or something like that to then explore all of those wonderful communities. It is luxury in every sense. From the moment you touch down, yes, there aren't as many direct flights from Boston, but there's a direct flight from JFK. So if you hop on, quick little layover, or from Atlanta, you can be there in under 5 hours, and it is like you are in a new world.
So if I would decide I want to go there in February, what's that cost going to be like for people?
Cost right now, I would say it is high season, as we know.
Right, exactly.
If you are a family of 4 and you are getting a nice, beautiful, sweet little hacienda moment on the water, it can run anywhere between $12,000 to $16,000, and then that's inclusive of taxes and fees. But at the end of the day, there are food and beverage charges and all the things that come with that, but we're running around there. But it is an experience, in my opinion, that sometimes I think beats Caribbean destinations and beats anywhere that you can go in Florida, because you are somewhere entirely different than I think most people on the East Coast get to experience.
Well, my final question about that is safety.
Safety. I've actually never felt safer than at the hotels in Cabo that I've stayed at. This amazing property, actually one of my favorite properties I've ever stayed at, is called Los Ventanos al Paradiso. It's a rosewood property. And from the minute you arrive there, you are taken care of. You are given a personal attendant that stays with you the entire stay and is there to cater to your every need, and they are the kindest, nicest people. The relationship that we formed with, I'll shout out Paulina, we still text her. She's amazing. And so what they do is they arrange cars and people to be with you every time you go to dinner. Everywhere you go, you're never left on your own and never left to wonder, should I be here
Look
or
like
should
a
I
tourist.
not? Exactly.
Right.
They only take you to places that are safe enough and comfortable enough for you to be. But at the same time, San Jose del Cabo and Baja Peninsula are home to a lot of expats and a lot of retirement communities. So if in a perspective, people wouldn't be moving there if they didn't feel comfortable at the end of the day. And it's compared to other parts of Mexico, I find it to be safer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
How do people get in touch with you?
You can reach out to me via my Instagram at @thegoldenway_. You can reach out to me on www.foratravel.com/Annie-Goldman.
Right.
And my website for The Golden Way is currently under construction, but soon you'll be able to find out about all my services there.
That's fantastic. Listen, continued success. You have given us some
you.
great ideas.
Wonderful.
I want to go to Vienna. I want to go to Vienna in the winter.
Yes, bring your coat and scarf. It's super cozy.
Exactly. Well, continued success.
Thank you
it's
so
really
much.
Terrific.
Thank you for having me
Great
today.
to have you here. Well, we've talked about some of these fantastic luxury outlets. Coming up next, are you someone who likes to travel with a group? If so, we've got the expert for you. This is Kerrigan and Company.
Have you tried Rumson Rum yet? This smooth, sweet, memorable rum is distilled in the Caribbean, barreled aged, and then blended, finished, and bottled in Salem, Massachusetts. Rumson's offers 4 unique blends: Gold, Spice, Grand Reserved, and Coffee. Before you start to sip or mix your next cocktail, ask yourself, do I want to enjoy New England's most awarded rum brand? If the answer is yes, the answer is Rumson's. Get Rumson's rum at liquor stores or ask for it by name at your favorite restaurant. Rumson's. Life lived, life enjoyed.
Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater whips up a twister of a tale with a magical family production of The Wizard of Oz, live on stage now through July 20th. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Well, welcome back to Kerrigan and Company. As I told you off at the top of the show, we have something a little different going on today. I don't have a co-host, but the reason is because we wanted to talk to 3 fabulous women about 3 different facets of travel. Everybody loves to travel. We love those summer vacations, certainly, but most of them are right here in our New England area. And it's about this time of year when we all need to start thinking about holiday travel and then certainly that winter travel, if in fact you want to get to the places that you are most interested in. So we've talked about luxury travel, and now we wanted to talk a little bit more about group travel, which I think is something that's fascinating and could be a lot of fun. So joining us is an expert, that's for sure. She is the business development manager for Colette Travel. Many of us have heard of that. This is Sam Trapani, and it's great to see you.
Thank you, Kim. It's great to be here.
I am so glad that you made yourself available to talk to us, because this is a facet of traveling that I don't know very much about. I'm very anxious to hear about. So
you yourself have never been on a guided tour.
I have not.
Right?
I have not. And I really don't know why, to be perfectly honest. I mean, the closest thing that I've been on that I would think like that would be almost like a cruise, but that's not the same thing, is it?
No, it's definitely not. And I think that's one of the exciting things is that a lot of people, I think, have misconceptions of what guided touring was. And I think like any stereotype, there's usually rooted in some truth. Because in the past, I think guided travel, you think like you're on the go. Everything's cookie cutter. You're on a motor coach all of the time. And Colette has done a really good job literally breaking those stereotypes. They're leading the evolution in guided travel because it's such a beautiful way to see the world. These are like specially curated tours, fully guided. We take care of all the logistics, and all people do is show up and have a great time.
Right.
So it's
not
awesome.
your grandma's
it's not
guided
your
tour
grandma's
is what
guided
you're saying,
tour.
right?
That's exactly, literally. I tell people that all the time because I want people to know that there's so much more freedom in it now than there used to be.
Well, I would say that if there was the freedom issue and just the idea that you're traveling with other people.
Yes.
So tell me, how have you found a way to get around those issues that people may have?
Well, so a couple of things. One of the things is that it's definitely a shared experience.
Yeah.
But that's one of the wonderful things about it is that to travel with other people is you meet wonderful people. There's something about travel that attracts people that are open to new experiences and different places. So we have different styles of travel. So we have our classic tours that I think is what a lot of people might think of originally, with 38 people on a motor coach. But really, one of the most popular ways of travel now is our small group explorations, which averages 18 people on a motor coach.
Wow.
And then we also have a spotlight tours where, instead of, if you don't want to move around and see a lot, we have spotlight tours where you unpack one time and then we do day adventures off of there. So it really changes the cadence of the tour and the experience. So we've listened to our travelers. We're always, like I said, evolving what people want for their experiences.
Well, Sam, we've sort of been talking about the fact that, and you heard me say it, it's July and people, really don't want to think about travel right now for the winter months because they're just enjoying, finally, we have, summer here. It takes us long enough to get it, but this is the time to start thinking about that, isn't it?
It really is, especially I'd say with guided touring. I mean, we definitely have people are still booking for the fall, but these are bigger trips. These are trips that the shortest trips are probably 8 days, and then it's 12, 13, 14 days. These are journeys. These are adventures. So people plan out. I'm definitely helping people for 2026 already. So
sure.
I think it's great, and part of that fun and before you go away is the anticipation of it and
absolutely
the planning of it. And like I said, we have tour designers that spend a lot of time really curating these tours, so it's fun to look at the itineraries and see, because we're not just seeing things, you're experiencing things that would be hard to duplicate if you were just trying to go on your own.
Sure.
And our tour managers are the best in the business, and from the minute you arrive to the minute you leave, you're learning so much more than if you were just like going to a destination and looking around,
absolutely,
seeing things,
right, making up your own stories.
Really understanding like the importance of it and what it means, and so
absolutely,
it's just a great way to see things.
Well, let me start with if I'm interested, there's a lot of people who live here on the East Coast who have never been to the West Coast.
It's true.
Maybe they're interested in wine country out there or something like that. Is that something you could do with Colette? And,
yes.
and tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, we have all 7 continents, 160 tours, and, the West Coast, we have quite a few itineraries, whether it's Pacific Northwest, or we have one tour called California Dreaming, which I love, that starts in Monterey and goes up to Yosemite and through wine country, and then, Lake Tahoe and ends in San Francisco. And then we have a new one that's national parks are just, we are so blessed in the United States to have so much beauty. We have a new one that's King Canyon and Sequoias, and then mixes San Diego and Los Angeles, where you kind of get a little mix of the city and the national park. So there is like a tour for everybody for sure. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
As we look ahead to 2026, what are some of the hot spots and some of the big tours that people are really interested in?
There's so many beautiful things to see in the world and great adventures to have. I would say things that evolve around nature. I definitely feel Costa Rica, as an example, continues to be very popular.
Fabulous.
I was lucky enough to take my son there last year on one of our tours. One of the happiest weeks that we've had. They have that pura vida spirit that, life, nothing, no, don't worry about anything in life. But the nature that we saw, the bird life that we saw, it was just incredible to experience. So I'd say Costa Rica continues to be definitely on people's bucket
great
list.
one. Yep, absolutely. Sure. How about European travel? Is there a lot of European travel going on?
Yes, so much. I'd say that one of the big on my bucket list and on a lot of people's bucket list, maybe you didn't think about it, but Finland. So the Northern Lights of Finland. That's one of our small group explorations trips. And think about this: we arrive in Helsinki, but then we take a flight up to Lapland. We're literally, in Santa's land.
Right.
And we're staying in the glass igloos. I don't know if you've seen photos of those resorts before. So you're in the glass igloos, the northern lights above you. You're taking a reindeer out at nighttime to look at them, guiding your own sled dog. It's just a whole incredible adventure experience.
Right. So like you said, this is an experience. It's not just really seeing places or whatever.
It's things that you will remember for, years to come.
When people book a guided tour like that, what's included?
So with Colette specifically, we start with a chauffeured limo going to and from your house. It's just a great way to start off your trip, being taken to and from the airport. And then we include all the logistics, and then that really starts with the accommodations, whether, like I said, it ranges with the accommodations. It's always at least 4+ star accommodations. But like I said, when we're in Finland, we're in igloos, we're in Ireland, we're in a castle. Like, it depends on where we're going. But that we include the accommodations, the tour manager, the culinary experiences, and we don't include all the meals. We include a lot of the meals, but once again, that's mostly from traveler feedback that yes, you're on a shared experience, but you want time to make the adventure your own and dine on your own and choose what you want to do. Maybe one night you just want to go to a pub and grab something and not have a full sit down minute. So there's that flexibility, which I love. And then let's see, and the flights. We'll take care of the flights. We'll do basically everything.
And transportation while you're obviously in those locations.
Yes, the transportation while you're there. So, obviously, oftentimes it's a motor coach, but not always. We mix that up. We're on boats, we're on trains, we're on tuk-tuks, we're on all different things. Each day is not cookie cutter. Each day is something different, and that's what makes it exciting.
And if you're staying in one location for maybe 2 or 3 days, and maybe there's a day planned, you don't necessarily have to do that, correct?
Kim, that's such a good point, because I think a lot of people think, oh, wow, a lot's included. We're doing stuff every day. We do include a lot, but to your point, we really try to have our itineraries where you are staying 2-3 nights, so you get to really be a sponge and feel like you're enjoying the area.
Right.
And if we have something planned that doesn't float your boat, absolutely, you can go do what you want and then come back later and meet up later. So there is that flexibility.
Give me a sense, if you will, Sam, of the range of prices that we might be talking about when someone takes one of these guided tours.
Yeah, I would say that, Costa Rica, as an example, still a lot of value there. Portugal, a lot of value. I'd say really starting probably around that $3,000 range with airfare, all the way up. I'd say an average price is in the, that high 4s or 5,000 or so, to some of the, the Canadian Rockies on the Rocky Mountaineer, very luxurious experience. Some of the higher end tours could be in the, 7,000-8,000 range.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's obviously we're talking about per person.
Per person, yes, per person,
right.
with airfare, and then with, like I said, with the tour manager, with all the experiences.
And the great part about it is that you can sort of tailor this to your needs, because I'm sure that some of them are 7 days and some of them are, like you said, 14 days.
Yes.
And some are 10.
Yes.
And so if your family needs are, a little bit shorter, or if you have the luxury of being able to go a little longer, right?
Yeah. And I would say, our tours were really designed originally with seniors in mind, seniors being, I'd say, 50 years and above, because we have a little bit more time typically to be able to go and explore. So that's why some of the itineraries are longer, but there are definitely shorter itineraries to meet. If you've never been on a tour and you want to see if you would enjoy it, to be able to try that.
Tell me about guided tours and children.
So we do definitely have some children on the tours. I'd say overall, typically they're adults, but on Costa Rica, as an example, my son was 23. There was a couple 20-year-olds. There was a teenager. There was a honeymoon couple. There was, some seniors. There was a wide range of people, but I'd say it's 5 years and above. You want to, like I said, you're learning as you go along the way, and the tour manager's you're seeing things and experiencing things. So as long as they have that attention span, I guess I would say, to be able that they would enjoy it, and that, that I always want people to get on the right tour.
Sure, exactly. Right.
And along with that, too, I'll just mention activity level, because we rank our tours on activity level because people, as they get older, you want to make sure that they have a tour that's not too active for them. So we rank it on a scale of 1 through 4, 4 being the most active, maybe like a Machu Picchu or Peru. But even a lot of Italy, a lot of Europe is a level 3, because there's
a lot of walking and
so much walking, and cobblestone streets and uneven terrain. So we mark that clearly. So people can understand that, because it's really important.
Which is a great thing, because I think that is really important.
Yeah.
A friend of my producer and mine recently took her father overseas and was concerned about that.
Yeah.
And they got on a tour that they assured them that it would be good for him, and it did turn out to be really good for him. So that's really great.
And they can always talk to somebody, at Colette, and we can help explain it and break it down.
Yeah, you want that assurance. That is for certain.
You do.
Talk to me about availability. At this stage of the game, what are we talking about?
There's definitely availability. Things do sell out. I definitely will say, we're going places every week and they do sell out. The demand for guided touring, especially post-COVID, has really boomed. I think people feel a sense of confidence knowing that they're going to be taken care of from the whole time that they're there. Yep. It's just a peace of mind. So, but there's still availability. You can go to the Go Colette website and look at the tours and look at the dates, and like I said, or call Colette directly or your local travel professional for help. And I just say, just look and just go and don't wait. And like I said, people are planning further out, but we can, one of the best things about Colette is they have a cancel for any reason up to the day before departure and get your money back less the cost of the insurance. It's just a huge peace of mind because life is crazy. The world is crazy. You just don't know.
Bet.
You know, so it is a wonderful
That is a
Colette.
wonderful thing. That's amazing. That is for certain. What's your very favorite trip you've taken?
Oh, that's really hard, Kim. You know, each time I come back, I'm like, that was my favorite place.
One.
That was the best one ever.
It's the next one you're going on, right?
You know, that's basically, seriously, each one has its own gifts, you know, and each thing's something that you get out of it. I was just in Turkey in April, and, you know, that's a place I was grateful that I was on a guided tour, you know, and we have local people always with us. And, and it was just, the people were wonderful, the food, the culture, it was beautiful. So much great history. So that was
great. And are there any trendy trips besides Costa Rica that you just want to tell people about? Maybe they want to check out. Turkey would be a really interesting one for sure.
Morocco's
Finland,
great.
right?
Finland.
Morocco.
Yeah. One of the Spotlight tours that I really love a lot is Spotlight on Northern Italy, where we're staying just in Treviso, which is right outside of Venice. But then we do day trips. Like I said, we're going up to the Dolomites. We're going to Prosecco country. We're going to Verona. Like, it's just your chance to be, you'll feel Italian by the end. You're just immersed in it for, you know, 7 nights, just leisurely unpacking at one place. And it's just a beautiful tour. And the food is great. Food's important to us at Colette too. It's important to me when I travel.
It is important.
It's important to Colette. We like to have you where the locals are in the restaurants, and not just, you know, dining. We like to have cooking classes or back alley foodie tours where you're walking around and experience like what the locals do.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you had me at Prosecco country.
Right?
There you go. Easy enough.
And Treviso is where tiramisu was invented. So I had to go tiramisu as well.
Wow. I think if you combine the two of those, I think that's it.
Microphone drop. Yeah.
All right. So I know you've mentioned it, but tell everybody again, if they're interested, how do they get a chance to take a look at some of these tours?
Go Colette, GoCollette.com is our website where you can see all of the tours, all the different styles of travel that I mentioned. Or call us directly, or definitely, you know, we're lucky. We have great travel partners in the area, so definitely call your local travel advisor as well, and they can assist you. But
super.
Yeah, it's so fun. When you go on one, you're going to come back and say, I have to go on another. That's what happens.
I bet you have a lot of people who are repeats, right?
So much repeat.
I bet so.
Customers, because they love us.
Well, one of the things that I think would be so fantastic is to have someone who's taking care of all the details. Yeah. I'm just having fun.
Yeah. Yes. You know, we're a local company too. We're in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and a family-run company, 106 years. So
something's going right.
We do things the right way. Yes. Yes.
Sam, it's great to see you. Thank you so very much.
Kim, I hope you
Happy
get to
travels.
travel with us
Thank you
someday.
very much. I'd sure like to. That would be
come
terrific.
To Finland or wherever you want to go.
Finland would be awesome.
It's
That is a
awesome.
great trip. Well, happy travels to you.
All right, thank you so much.
And folks, you heard what she said now. It is time to start that booking now. You don't want to see, you know, your favorite trip that you'd like to take in February and it's already booked out. So be sure you check it out. When we come back, we're going to talk about the U.S. Virgin Islands and some of the great attractions there and some of the reasons that you might be attracted to traveling to that area. This is Kerrigan & Company. Longer days and warmer weather mean more time to spend outside. Are you ready to extend those days even longer with effective and efficient landscape and outdoor lighting? If so, Lucia Lighting and Design in Lynn can stretch your summer days by helping to create beautifully well-lit outdoor living spaces. The lighting experts at Lucia will work with you to plan a space that's bright, comfortable, and secure. It'll be so great you might never be inside. Get started by going to lucialighting.com, then make an appointment to visit their beautiful showroom in Lynn, Massachusetts. That's lucialighting.com. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. A dazzling, all-new production of The Wizard of Oz is on stage July 8th through the 20th. Get your tickets at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everyone, to Kerrigan and Company. It's this special edition of Kerrigan and Company because we're talking about travel. Again, we're right here in the middle of July, and I know that, most of we New Englanders, we're not thinking about leaving the area because we've waited all year for this fabulous weather, that's for sure. But before we know it, guess what? It's going to be the holidays, and then we're going to hit January, February, March, even April, and we'll all be looking for some place to maybe escape. One of my favorite places to escape is the U.S. Virgin Islands. I have dear friends who live on St. Croix, and I visit on a regular basis. I have been to St. Thomas. I have been to St. John, and I'm hoping to travel to all of those again this coming winter. But we thought it would be really great to talk to somebody who really knows the islands and knows when the best times might be for you to book those trips. So joining me now is the Deputy Commissioner of the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism. I am so happy that Rosie Farrington could join us. It's great to see you.
Great seeing you as well, Kim. Pleasure to be with you today.
Absolutely. Listen, you are someone, I'm not real jealous of a lot of people, but I am jealous of you, and I'd like to have that job. That seems, I know it's a lot of work, I can only imagine, but boy, it sure seems like a fabulous position.
It sure is. And we can share. I can ensure that you're a great ambassador, which you already are. So it's really awesome to be here with you to share why everyone should start booking their travel to come see us on St. Thomas, St. Croix, or St. John.
Well, let me ask you first. You must be a native of one of the islands.
I am actually not a native of one of the islands.
So tell me what took you there.
Born and raised in another island, which is further south in the Caribbean Sea. It's St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have called St. Thomas USVI my home for over 25 years. So I might not be native, but I consider myself a true Virgin Islander.
Absolutely.
And I ensure that every single place I go that I wave that USVI flag to let people know that we're not just open for a visit, we're open for residence, we're open for business.
Absolutely. So let's explain maybe for some of our listeners and our watchers who don't know about the U.S. Virgin Islands. It is those three islands that I mentioned, St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas. But tell everyone what it means to be a U.S. Virgin Island.
Well, the first thing, which is the most exciting thing that we let people know, with travel being a little bit more difficult and tedious now, being a U.S. territory, no passport is required. So for persons who, want to make it a weekend stay destination or an extended summer stay, the fact that we are American and a territory of the United States of America mean that it's the ease of access. U.S. currency and no passport required are definitely assets that we continue to market.
Absolutely. Talk about how easy or how difficult it is to get there from Boston.
From Boston. Boston is actually one of our major hubs. We have an exciting partnership that we continue to build on through Fenway Park, through the Red Sox. And, we frequent in the Boston area because we have a lot of either students or persons who consider there to be the diaspora for the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we have a lot of nonstop flights that we continue to build in through JetBlue. We have a really robust relationship with JetBlue, with service nonstop flights to St. Thomas. And for persons who want to explore either St. John or St. Croix, there are multiple avenues to be able to travel between those islands. So the flights that we have are nonstop out of Boston. We have hubs through JFK, through Miami that also facilitate nonstop flights to either St. Thomas or St. Croix in the case of Miami to St. Croix. So there are multiple ways and avenues that you could explore travel. And of course, let's not forget cruise. St. Thomas was once again voted by Porthole as the best cruise destination and port in the entire Caribbean. So there are multiple avenues and ways that you can actually hop and skip away from Boston and other areas within the United States of America.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about again, going back to this idea of this is July, is this the time, Rosie, to start really thinking about those? Let's say you want to go and stay for 3 or 4 weeks in January or February. Is this the time to start booking that?
It is the time. There are 2 things I want to explore and share. Summer, although I know, like you said, the Bostonians look forward to summer being beautiful in that area for you to enjoy the area. For persons looking for a summer vacation with your family, with your kids, this is a perfect time because it's what we consider the slower time in our season. So the rates are lower, the hotels are emptier, the beaches are a lot less crowded. This is a great time too. So we try to market and let you know there's no bad time to come to the U.S. Virgin Islands. But I know I've experienced some of those winters, very short cohorts of those winters. I know that's the times when you want to be able to escape, to enjoy the sea, sun, and sand. This is the time. We have a plethora of hotels and hotel rooms in both St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, and lots of the shared economy, whether it be Airbnb, home away from home, lots in inventory. Let's not forget the villas for those who want the extended, longer stay. We have the villas on each one of those islands that are waiting for you. Accessible, part of being a U.S. territory too. The platforms that we use, which of course are being used throughout the Caribbean to reserve rooms. We have Bonvoy for the Bonvoy members. We're excited to announce on St. Thomas very soon, we're going to have the very first Hampton by Hilton. So those persons who Hilton Honors members, there's lots of options, but we really become booked quickly.
Yes.
So this is the ideal time to start planning and to start booking and confirming.
So what I'd love for you to do, because my personal experience is that these 3 islands are very distinct. They have their own personalities. So maybe you could walk through how you see St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. And by the way, I believe that in one vacation you can see them all and certainly get a taste of all of them. But give people an idea of their personalities.
Absolutely. We have something for just about every traveler. One-stop shop. And as you mentioned, you're able to enjoy in one vacation 3 different vibes, 3 different experiences. St. Croix, we consider the Mecca for just history, culture, culinary experiences are so delectable. It's where you go. It's definitely the chill vibe, we call it. We market it specifically as St. Croix, a vibe like no other. It's where you go if you want to be either lost in the rainforest, enjoying the bear drinking pig, or just lost on a little beach or on trails or hikes that really is rich in history and culture. It's one of the last, what I call the last residential islands throughout the 3 of our islands. It's laid back. It's really quiet. It's peaceful. It's where I really go to just reconnect. Point Udall is, one of the first sunrises in the United States, in terms of being Eastern. And it's where you go to just reconnect with nature in paradise. When you're thinking of someone, for the persons who like shopping, it's a tax holiday every single day in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So St. Thomas is the Mecca when it comes to shopping, whether, you want to come and purchase your Rolex or you're into, the other designer jewelry and everything else. It's definitely where it's more cosmopolitan. Home to Magens Bay, which is one of the top 10 beaches in the world, in addition to some of the most picturesque views that you can imagine in any part of this island. On St. Thomas, we just proudly celebrated the reopening of the Westin, formerly Frenchman's Reef. Bonvoy members, it's a great place to come and use those points. It's just absolutely picturesque and beautiful from that location. And then St. John, I call it personally the bohemian escape. Sandals, flip-flops, every day, all day. Home to Trunk Bay, which is the best #1 beach in the entire world. Some of the best trails, some of the best hiking. Yeah. I mean, St. John now, I try to frequent, it's just a ferry ride away from St. Thomas.
Right.
So when you take your nonstop JetBlue flight to St. Thomas, you commute to Red Hook, 10, 15 minutes in a ferry.
Right.
Some of the best, beautiful waterfront restaurants and experiences on St. John. So I shared a little bit of every destination, and I hope that your viewers, your listeners would grasp the fact that there is something for whether you're into hiking, scuba. St. Croix is excellent when it comes to scuba diving. So is St. Thomas and St. John. So there's a little bit for everyone, a solo traveler, a family, a honeymoon, a wedding. We have it all.
Well, and again, the wonderful part about this is that it's true. They do have it all. And they are a U.S. territory. So everyone is speaking English. Let's begin there, because let's just face it. We are people who all speak English. That's a fact. And we're lazy, so we need them to speak English. And secondly, it's American currency. So that also makes it, just an easy trip to get there, to enjoy the experience, and to feel like you're really in paradise. I really think that's true.
And you're safe. I forgot that. That's a really super important component. That you're safe. Mm-hmm. That, most of the insurances that you have, medical insurance, they work here. Yeah. We have access to your banks, to your monies. So that's important. I mean, as people consider travel and the landscape of so many things are changing, we want to know that we're going to a safe destination that's within arm's reach of wherever we call home.
Right.
That's the U.S. Virgin Islands.
So true, Rosie. And certainly for people who are looking for maybe a month getaway, they want to get out of that winter, for a month or so. These are places, as Rosie said, you can access your money, you can access your insurance. They are safe places. They're beautiful. They're easy to get between the islands. Rosie, I want you to know that when I was down there this last winter, I took my first seaplane. And I'm not the world's greatest flyer. I went from St. Croix to St. Thomas on a seaplane. It was a fabulous experience. I loved every second of it. Yeah, it was great fun. It was great fun. And I was so proud of myself once I got off. I had done it. I just couldn't believe it. So it was really great. So again, if you're interested in these islands, be sure that you start to talk to someone right now, right, Rosie? Because now is the time to start to book those winter vacations. And, Rosie, one last thing. I just wanted to say, I so concur with you when you said that summertime is okay as well. I think a lot of people think it gets blazing hot in the summer, but that's not the case. The weather is consistent throughout the year, right? 85 and breezy.
It is. And we have this beautiful thing called the trade winds. So like the song says, 96 degrees in the shade. It literally feels like that, and what better place to be hot than on the beach,
right?
With a pina colada or a painkiller. So definitely, Kim, we really, really are encouraging all to start making those plans, capitalize on the times when it's slower, when it's a lot less, traffic, and bring your kids down before they get back to school. Super. And enjoy the USVI.
Fantastic. Rosie Farrington, thanks so much. Continued success.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. We'll wrap things up in just a moment. This is Kerrigan & Company.
From the excitement of Munchkinland to the Wicked Witch's castle, it's the Wizard of Oz, live on stage now through July 20th only at North Shore Music Theater. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa is so excited to welcome bilingual nurse injector Letitia Kuna to the staff. With nearly a decade of experience, Letitia is ready to help you achieve a new beginning. Book an appointment with her today or with any of Sienna's wonderful professionals at siennaaesthetics.com, or you can call them at 781-405-1447. This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. That's going to do it for this edition of Kerrigan and Company. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I think it's so fun to learn about travel and all of these different ways that are accessible to all of us, whether it's luxury travel or there's group travel or there's destination travel. All of it out there. And if you'd like to check it out, be sure that you do. But remember this, while we're enjoying this wonderful summer here in New England, whether you're down on the Cape or over on the islands, up on the North Shore, wherever you might be, you're not thinking about travel for early 2026, but now is the time to do so. So be sure you check it out. Next week, we'll go back to our regular format, and we're going to have a great show and a great person keeping me company. So be sure you check that out as well. Please follow us on social, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure you subscribe. I'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan and Company is David Thompson. Our engineer is Peter Hurley, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.